Greetings, and today's clown is enslaved by no media. Oops, I best correct that. That makes more sense now. He lives in the Boston area on the east coast of the United States of America. And he has an extensive library of top comedy videos. You should really check them out. They're hilarious. In the past, he has made claims that the US is not the size we are told. Not that 2,800 miles, but in fact half the size we are told. Why he thinks this, nobody knows. As this could easily be proved by jumping into a car or buying a plane ticket and simply travelling across from Boston to the West Coast. But no, it's too hard for him. Other things he has claimed in the past are that the lanes on the highways are narrower than we are told. Aircraft fly slower and lower than we are told. And aircraft are not the size that we are told. How he has come to these conclusions? Has he used any form of measuring equipment like rulers, tape measures, radar guns? No, he just uses this P900, P1000 camera. As all trained engineers, surveyors and even traffic cops will tell you, there is only one tool that can accurately measure distances and speeds, and that is of course the P900,000 camera. Despite Enslaved by No Media relying on his highly accurate measuring device, the P900, he has made plenty of videos claiming there is a camera conspiracy to hide the true size of the world. He just loves to post videos demonstrating his lack of understanding on how a camera lens works, and his flock of gullible sheep lap it up. Enslaved by No Media as a fellow clown and friend. Here he is, Jason Maggard. Jason resides in Washington State, and they have met up in the past and have posted videos of their fun visits to the Boeing Museum of Flight in Seattle. It's funny, when Enslaved by No Media visited Jason, he never mentioned how large the US really was. Now let's take a look at the crazy world of Enslaved by No Media, with a special appearance from Jason Maggard. So where did you get this 4-foot dimension from? Another number pulled out of your arse. Yes, the only lies here are your lies. Let's have a look. These are cabins from the early part of aviation. Don't look that dissimilar from the modern day cabins. And if you've got the money, of course you can afford the luxury if you go on the A380 with these various cabins. And strangely enough, there are rules for cabin aisle width laid down by the Federal Aviation Authority. Minimum width is 15 inches. And as you can see, depending on the aircraft, depends how wide the cabin is. And now he moves on to cabin windows. Another mad conspiracy that he has dreamt up. And just like all brain-dead conspiracists, he can't look into the subject and answer and find out why things are what they are. He just has to make up absolute, complete BS.
Smooth enough not to shake the baby sham, quiet enough to have a conversation, and with windows large enough to watch the world go by.
This is for the elf. Let me see! Don't jump about. You can see quite plainly the window's bigger than you are.
Not only did Capital Airlines fly the Viscount, but they also admired its virtues in that warming, homespun way that only Americans can fake.
Were you born this stupid, or did you have to go to college and learn to be this stupid? The windows on the upper deck where that man is standing are conforming to the profile of the fuselage. There's no great conspiracy because they're positioned like that. You've got something right there. Let's have a look. Here we see the construction of a typical jet airliner's window, and as you can see there are two panes of glass separated by a rubber seal pressed into the opening into the cabin skin, and there will be a third plastic clear plastic screen over the glass windows fitted to the cabin interior trim panel. Well, you seem to be doing a very good job of looking down out of that window, and the space between the glass doesn't stop you from looking out of the window and looking down. The reason why you can't fully see below you is that you're on the upper deck on an A380 and the window is tilted at an angle because it's following the fuselage contours. It's amazing there are people you're as dumb as you that can't figure this out for yourself. There is a reason why windows on aircraft are the size they are, and it all stems back from a tragic few accidents in the 1950s with the de Havilland Comet. The de Havilland Comet, the world's first pressurized jet airliner, with its nice shiny new large square windows, was state of the art, was the queen of the skies, and then they started falling out of the skies for no apparent reason. The wreckage of one was recovered and reconstructed, and it showed signs of metal fatigue had caused the failure of the fuselage. So now the search was on to find what caused it. So the boffins at Farnborough took a yet to be delivered Comet fuselage and submerged it in a purpose-built tank, and then carried out pressurization tests. And only after a small amount of pressurization cycles, fatigue was discovered and the fuselage ruptured. And the cracks were orientated around the square windows. This meant that the square windows were actually a structural impairment to the aircraft and a clear sign of weakness. So they were redesigned to be smaller and rounder to relieve the pressurization stresses on the fuselage. Other aircraft manufacturers were watching this, and they took note and designed to a standard. That is why aircraft windows are the size they are. Why are conspiracy nuts so incapable of typing in such a simple question to Google, and then you would find out why things are? And by just typing in why are aircraft windows so small, and you basically get numerous reasons why, and they all boil down to the same thing. It's to maximize the strength of the fuselage. Simple. I don't understand why conspiracy nuts just can't do this. Instead, they have to make up lies and lies and lies and come up with some of the most ridiculous ideas on the planet. Wait, I hear you say, what about the Vickers Viscount? It still had fairly large windows compared to jet airliners, and it had a pressurised cabin. Well, the simple fact is, the Vickers Viscount only operated up to a maximum altitude of 25,000 feet, whereas airliners such as de Havilland Comet and subsequently all its followers were flying in the realms of altitudes of 35,000 up to 42,000 feet. So the actual pressure difference and pressure stresses were far greater on the more modern jet engines aircraft than the Viscount. So you're going to make up more lies and misinformation about the A380, eh? And at no point did you make any investigation into the physical size of these wheels, did you? And when was belly height ever an unit of SI measurement? And as we can see, aircraft tyres are identified in the same manner as any other normal motor vehicle tyre. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner how they deform under the weight of the aircraft above them. And now nose high is a SI unit of measure, is it? Really, enslaved by no brain. The angle that photo's taken at, it appears that wheel is bigger than it is. In fact, that looks like it's probably off a 747, which is just short of the guy's chin. No smaller aircraft had large wheels. The quantity of wheels is more important to the size of the wheels when it comes to the weight of the aeroplane. The bigger and the heavier the aircraft, the more main wheels it needs to spread the weight of the aircraft across the tarmac. The only aircraft I could find that had a huge main wheel was the Convair B-36 Peacemaker transcontinental nuclear bomber, which you can see on the right here, dwarfing the B-29 Super Fortress. The two early prototypes of the aircraft had a single main wheel. It was discovered that the weight loading on impact on the runways with the single main gear required the US Air Force to reinforce every landing strip it operated the type from. So the aircraft was redesigned with a bogie multiple wheel main gear. This spread the weight over the tarmac and the runways. They could use existing runways. The bogie gear was also more compact, took up less space in the wing, and was lighter. Like all reality-denying conspiracy nuts, enslaved by no brain, can't even waste his time to actually try and find out the answers to his questions. A simple Google search would have led him down the path of finding out why aircraft wheels are as they are. Really, why is that? An aircraft is always lighter when it lands than when it took off, because it's consumed the fuel it had on board. And I have 30 plus years experience maintaining aircraft from the size of little A320s and Boeing 737s through to 757s, McDonnell Douglas DC-10s, Lockheed TriStars, and the big Boeing 747 100s, 200s and 400 series aircraft. And if there are any A380 maintenance engineers out there, please correct me if I'm wrong, but assuming with my experience, that aircraft is probably arriving with no more than 10 tons of fuel on board. Well, the last time I checked, a Camaro was not another unit of SI measurement. Firstly, I double checked your figures and I've got no idea where you got those numbers from, because even on the Chevrolet site, that weight is different. Chevrolet quote £3,883 to £4,148, which will obviously make a huge difference to the figures you're claiming. Well, let's do something you obviously never did and see where the fuel actually goes on a 380. As you can see, just over 18.5 tons of fuel goes in the tail. So your fuel quantity for the wings is completely out by 18.5 tons. Let's do the figures properly, shall we? Using Chevrolet's own facts and figures and Airbus's facts and figures, we shall run the numbers, shall we? However which way I tried, I just couldn't come up with the same ridiculously stupid numbers you did. And as the A380 has a wing area of 843 square meters, and the wing is at the wing root at least 2 meters deep, it clearly has enough volumetric capacity to hold 300.840 cubic meters of fuel. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mentioned this earlier. An aircraft has a maximum takeoff weight which is greater than its maximum landing weight. It will always be lighter when it lands because it has burnt the fuel. And if an aircraft has to land for emergency reasons and it has not got down to its maximum landing weight, if the aircraft is fitted with such a system, it can jettison the surplus fuel overboard. If the aircraft has no fuel jettison system, it sadly has to fly around until it has burnt the fuel to bring it down to its maximum landing weight before it can land safely. No, you muppet, they are standing on the wing, and yes, wings are strong as they have to lift so much weight into the air. Of course that is, except in the air crashes that involve the fuel burning in the wings, I suppose. These images would not exactly go well with your lies and misinformation now, would it? Enslaved by no brain. And all your dumbass followers that buy into your BS hoax. And like all truther numpties that are trying to spread lies and misinformation, you even debunk your own claims in your own videos by showing pictures of aircraft wings burning. You didn't look very hard because I found loads of pictures. Why would you have to wait for an air crash to look inside wings when you can actually see inside wings from photos taken on the production line? And Boeing are kind enough to organise public tours of their production facilities. And as you've already claimed that the United States of America is half the size you're told, you could drive from Boston to Seattle in a couple of days, couldn't you, to go and look around their factory and actually see how the aircraft are manufactured, and particularly the wings. I guess why you want to look inside crashed wings is because you're expecting them to still be full of fuel, aren't you? But if you put a hole in a bucket and there was water in it when you put the hole in it, the water doesn't stay in the bucket now, does it? So why do you expect the fuel to stay in wings when they are ruptured open? Use your common sense. Oh yeah, sorry, you're a conspiracy theorist. Common sense, intelligence don't go with you lot, do they? Now we join Enslaved by No Brain with his even dumber mate Jason Maggard as they take a tour of the Boeing Museum of Flight in Seattle. This is hilarious. It's clearly two individuals that have got no idea of reality.
Is that a 747?
I was planning on coming down here to do a U-turn.
I ain't no,
What is that?
what? I have no idea what that is. You're about to hit the wing. I have no idea what that is. Doesn't look real. It looks like paper mache. Look at the sides.
Yeah. Well, that's what my brother said about a lot of these. He's like, a lot of these are mock-ups.
They let you come right in, huh? You don't need to pay to get in.
Yeah,
Is that the 7? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's big.
It's big. I measured it out at what did I measure out? 180 or 175 or something?
I can't tell. Oh yeah, it's not 240, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, look, you could
They
tell.
can tell, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell.
I tell just by looking at the windows. Can I stop here for a second?
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Right,
get out.
window. I want to just get the windows. Like,
Well, no, I didn't know there was a window shop back here. Otherwise, I would have made it part of my video.
all right,
And
guys, looking at the Concorde here, and look at the windows. Looking at them from here, they are 3 by 6, 3 by 5.
remember the door, that door right there, Dave? That's a 4-foot door. I measured it from the inside.
It's a 4-foot door. That's how small those windows are. Why are the windows so small, guys? It looks about 100 foot long. It's so tiny, man. It looks like a stretched out embryo. You guys see this giant aircraft in front of me? What's it called, Jason?
It's the Super Constellation. It's by Lockheed.
4 massive engines. I'd say it's about 100 foot long. Maybe it's a big plane, right? Look at here. They got these chain with cement. Cement. You know what the cement's for, don't you? It's so the wind won't blow this heavy piece of machinery up in the air, guys. Come on, it's light. That's why they have them on there. They don't want it to blow away. No other reason why that would be there. None.
Well, Dumber and Dumber, there is a reason that those concrete drums are there. They've obviously removed so much equipment, and the centre of gravity has changed on the aircraft, and they don't want it ending up doing this, sitting on its tail. Yes, the barrels of concrete do help it to stay on the ground in high winds, but in high winds they would chain the aircraft down, not just those 2 barrels of concrete. And the reason why it could lift off in high winds is because it's got 2 massive lift generators poking out the side of the fuselage either side, called wings, and they generate lift. And you have the sufficiently strong enough wind, enough lift will be generated to lift the aircraft off its nose.
Okay guys, this giant plane, Jason's gonna move the wing.
What'd you do? Just jump up and hit it?
Yeah, not much. No, I can hear it all the way into the fuselage. Oh yeah, the wing's moving. Look at that. The whole wing's moving, guys. How heavy can this thing be? Come on, wake up, folks. Hey, folks. This is an old MiG.
So reading is a problem then. It's not what it says there, is it? It's a Fiat.
Whatever this is, but just...
It's a Fiat. This is Italy's plane.
This is an Italian fighter. Look. It's a piece of crap. Look, these are drywall screws, guys. Look, drywall screws.
That's the ones we just used today to hang the... Yeah.
Why would there be drywall screws holding this thing together, guys? Think about that.
Basically because it's not held together with drywall screws, or because you've got a crosshead bolt head doesn't mean it's a drywall screw. And here's examples of crosshead bolts and screws and attachment devices. And those panels could be held on by a combination of anything like these. You are proving to be dumber and dumb, aren't you? I think that's enough stupid for one day, and we shall continue another day with Enslaved by No Media and his friend Jason Maggard as they prove to the world how foolish they are. See you next time. Thank you for watching.